Episode 1 of the WordPress Minute podcast by Edison Avenue Consulting, making sure that the search engines can find your site. In this series of podcasts, we're going to be discussing various ways that you can make your WordPress website visible to search engines and help people find what you are trying to talk about or trying to sell. So the first thing we need to do is make sure that the search engines can actually find your site. Oftentimes when we set up a site, we would set the settings so that you couldn't find the site. So if you're doing things like reskinning a site or setting up a new site, you wouldn't damage the search engine rankings for any of the old sites or any other old site that you had out there. So what we would do in that case is when we were setting up the site, we'd actually set the search engine visibility to be off. And this is not the default setting, but what it does is it tells all the sites or all the search engines that your site should be ignored, not to index it, not to look at it. And then you go build the site and do all the things that you need to do. And oftentimes what would happen is once you launch the site, you would forget to go back to this setting and turn it off. And what would happen is that your site would actually disappear from the internet. Not a good thing. So what we really need to do is it's a very simple setting. You would go into the settings menu in the WordPress admin, and then you would go into the reading section of the site, and it's the very last checkbox. It says search engine visibility. And when it's checked, it says discourage search engines from indexing this site. All you'd have to do is uncheck this and then save it. And now your site's ready to be indexed by all the search engines. Essentially what this is doing is, if you're familiar with the robots.txt file, is that it's setting all the user agents to star, meaning all user agents, and disallow /. So the / is saying disallow everything on this site. Turning this off, of course, turns off that robots.txt emulation and allows all the search engines to index your site and go ahead and grab every piece of content off the site. So often overlooked setting, because you're not going to ever turn this on unless you're doing development, and often overlooked when you're going into production, because we all forget site's working great for you because you're looking at a normal browser. You're not trying to do any searching on it. So that's what you need to do, and what you need to do on the first step to get your site ready for the search engine to crawl it. Stay tuned for more tips. To find out more about us, visit edisonavenue.com. That's EDISONAVE.com.